Hi, everyone. I'm Christy Forsyth with Clarity by Christy. This is your weekly reading where we talk all about what's going on in the collective energy, the cosmos, the energy that's impacting each and every one of us, and how we can use it to make the most of it. It's going to help you to understand what you're feeling, what's going on in your world right now, and how you can master this energy so that you can have the best week possible. I'm really excited for where this energy is going, as much as I think a lot of this is going to feel like some work, right? But we're used to the work at this point. And we've been doing a lot of work for a long time, and we've been very heavy in the work. So I was sharing last week how we had that opportunity last week to have some forward momentum, to take action, to begin to lay down the foundation and take some steps in the direction of the things that we're wanting to create. And we had this little window where we had no retrogrades, because when we think about retrogrades, what retrogrades in the planets do is they can slow down the energy. They're very reflective, and they can create a little bit of a challenge with momentum. Hey, Meg, nice to see you here. So we had all of that going on, and now we have officially shifted into Venus retrograde. We've got Mercury retrograde coming in soon. So a lot going on with this energy, where it is, again, inviting us to come back to our work, to be willing to take a look at where we need to work on ourselves, where we need to make some changes, where we need to make some shifts. And these retrogrades give us this opportunity to be able to do that. I want to remind you, we also have eclipse season happening here in the month of March. So if you're somebody who's in my Clarity by Christy membership, I give you the full overview, what to expect through the month. I do this reading, but more in depth for the month. And I give you a whole printable cheat sheet to go along with it that highlights all of the dates and everything that you need to know. So, and by the way, I have that on sale for $77 for the full year. So I'm going to make sure that I put the link and the code for that down below for anybody who's interested. But anyway, just like it gives you that bird's eye view of the month. And this is quite a month. We have a lot that is happening. And so we'll talk about that stuff when we get to it. But for right now, I want to make sure that we are talking about this work that we're doing here in this week, because it's going to be ramped up that much more when we shift into the eclipses that are coming in soon. So we'll be talking about that more next week, but I want you to think about this week being this preparation for that. I want you to notice what you're feeling reflective about. Typically, when we've shifted into Venus retrograde, and when Venus is in retrograde, we tend to look at issues in regard to relationships and money. So you may find yourself processing some things in regard to some of those things. We'll talk more about Venus retrograde, but I think part of the caution as I'm connecting with messages around this energy that we want to make sure that we're paying attention to is when we are in retrogrades, and especially I'm feeling it now, it's so important that we're paying attention, that we're learning from what's going on, and that we're utilizing the lessons that we have learned, but we're not going backwards. So this is not about going backwards. I've said this again and again lately. We are in a new era, and we need to behave like it. And this week, I think especially, we need to behave like it. We need to be mindful of that, because we're asking ourselves the question, the universe is asking us the question, have you learned your lesson? Good times, right? This is a challenging energy in some ways. You might already find that this is happening for you, where you have it being highlighted, some kind of a lesson, some kind of an area in your life that you have been focusing on. And the universe is calling us to the carpet to see, have we elevated ourselves? Are we going to handle this in a way that's elevated, that's different, that's better than in the past? Or are we either going to go backwards and repeat the same pattern, or are we going to keep spinning our wheels and maybe do nothing, or maybe handle it in a way that is ineffective? And there's no judgment with any of it. We have free will. We get to choose what we want to do. But best case scenario here in this energy is going to be making sure that we are approaching lessons as they're showing up from a place of change, from a place of knowing that old keys do not unlock new doors, right? And so we want to make sure that we have different approaches, better approaches based on all of the things that we've been learning. We have been preparing for this. We're not walking into this completely unprepared. We've been working on ourselves. The sessions that I've had even just today have been not new work that people are doing, but have been this really like we're at the top of the mountain here with this, like we've been working toward the top of that mountain to get there. And now we're at the top and it's like we are at the final test. We are at the final ending of the path toward the top of the mountain. And so what we're being tasked with is to do this in a different way. Whatever this is for you, this is going to be for all of you, for all of us, different areas of all of our lives. So keep that in mind. And so I want you to think about like what lessons have been showing up for you. What has been on your mind? What have you been thinking a lot about? Because this is about the mastery of lessons. This is about the application of the lessons that we have been learning. We've been in school. And so now it's about the application. This is kind of like, when you go through school and you go to all your classes and you learn the things. Now, this is the internship portion of the energy where we're being invited to apply the things that we've learned and to get some practice with that. And so because it's the internship phase of this, I think that there's going to be some grace that the universe is giving us around all of that. But we want to make sure that we're thinking about how can I approach this in a different way. And I promise you, it's never going to be through going backwards, through repeating the same pattern, through approaching something in the exact same way, through trying something different, but really it's just a repeat of the same thing. So for example, have you found yourself dating the exact same person? And maybe they're all different people, but it's the same person, just in a different body, right? That kind of thing. Or have you found yourself approaching different situations at work and they're all different situations, but you have the same approach and it's not working? So I think that this is a time for us to take a look at, and Venus retrograde will invite us to take a look at that. Where do I need to change my approach? Where do I need to do this differently? What's not working for me? What's not serving me anymore? So that we can be opening new doors for ourselves. We're in a new era. We want to be opening new doors. We want to be moving forward with the connections that we've been making in the past several months, with the insights that we now have and this understanding that we have of ourselves. So we want to be trying to do all of this. There's a lot of blessings that are happening with this. So it's not like we're not being rewarded for this work. I know it's frustrating, and we get to this place where we say, oh, I don't want to be working on myself. I don't want to be putting my energy into this. I'm tired. And I get it. We are tired. It's been a lot of work, but know that when you invest in yourself and when you invest in your life and allowing yourself to be on the best path possible that you're aware of in this time, there's always going to be rewards for that. And I feel like part of these rewards are these very tangible indications that we're making progress, that things are developing, that things are happening. I do feel like March is a month where things are moving forward more, where we're not feeling quite so stuck, where we're not feeling like nothing is happening. Things are happening. It just might be a little frustrating because some of the things that are happening are the lessons, but they're giving us the chance to master the lesson so that we get the reward on the other side of the lesson. Oh, Joy's saying, love the glasses. Thanks, Joy, so much. So we have that. We have destined events that are happening right now. I was talking about that last week as well. A lot of things happening and coming together right now and clicking together right now. And I think that this will be the case over the course of the next several months as well. So if you're not seeing that now, know that that is going to be coming in as we move further into this. I do want to talk about Venus retrograde because it's important for us to have an understanding of what this looks like and how this is impacting us and influencing us. So we have Venus retrograde until I believe it's mid-April. So I think maybe like the 12th or the 13th, something like that, we will be in Venus retrograde. So this is something, it doesn't happen every year. It happens about every other year, I believe. And this is when Venus is essentially moving backward in the sky. And what that does is it has us reflecting back on situations in regard to several different things, but especially in regard to love and money, or relationships and money. So it has us taking a look at that. So I want you to notice where that's being highlighted for you, because it's going to show you where you have work left to do. It's going to help you to understand where things don't align for you anymore. Maybe some habits that you have in regard to your finances. It's going to show you where you've got to cut some of the bullshit, right? Where some things just aren't working for you, aren't serving you, aren't contributing to the finances that your higher self would prefer you to have. Or you may find that there are connections, relationships in your world that aren't aligning. I also think that it's an opportunity for us to heal and release old relationship stuff that we didn't even realize was still there, that we didn't realize was still impacting us. So one of the ways that this comes through and happens for people is that people will run into an ex, or be contacted by an ex, or run into somebody that they haven't been connected to in a long time. It doesn't have to be a love relationship, but these things that are coming up, and that's not for the purpose of getting back together with your ex. I always say it when we are in Venus retrograde, do not get back together with your ex, especially when we have Mercury retrograde coming up too, because that's like a double whammy in terms of exes and people coming out of the woodwork that probably aren't best for you. If you close it out once, it's probably meant to stay closed out, with the exception of maybe a situation where both parties have done immense work on themselves and they're aligning and meeting in the same place. But to me, that's more rare. So as a general rule, this is more about healing the situation than any kind of reunion situation with that. Okay. So keep that in mind, because we're way more at risk of this during Venus retrograde. So it's so important for us to keep in mind. And it's giving us an opportunity to work on it and heal it. So it might mean that there are important conversations that are happening, or it might just be coming to the surface to say, you've got to reflect on this and think about this a little bit and learn the lessons from it so that you don't repeat the same mistakes in your current situations or situations that you will have coming up. Again, this energy is about mastering the lesson. So how can you take what you've learned in the past, because relationships have taught us so much, and apply it into your present and your future situations? Now, this is not a great time to start a brand new relationship during Venus retrograde, but if you've already been seeing someone, dating, whatever, this is actually an opportunity for that relationship to go to the next level, to deepen, to become more closely connected if it's aligned, but only if it's aligned. Relationships that are not aligned struggle to make it through Venus retrograde. And so if something is struggling to make it through, I think it's important to take a look at that as well. And allowing yourself to do all of this work around it, whether it's deepening connections that align, or clearing and releasing, letting go, forgiveness, allowing people to receive, giving yourself some grace, giving other people grace. There's all kinds of ways that we're being called to do that. So if stuff is getting shaken up, if stuff is getting stirred up for you, your fears around money, your relationship stuff, know that that's coming up to give you an opportunity to work on it. And so if you're not sure what to do with that, I always just ask. I say, hey, God, show me. What am I supposed to do with this? Because this is stressful. This is hard for me. So what would you like me to do? How would you have me move differently? What would you have me do? And putting that out there, I promise you, you'll get that answer. So see what that looks like. And it might not even be a matter of you need to do something, because it's not always about action. Sometimes it's just about shifting your perspective on something or being willing to acknowledge it and release it. So there's all kinds of different ways that we can approach this, but it's giving us this opportunity to break patterns and to learn lessons and to really master these lessons that we've learned in regard to love and money. And again, I want you to keep in mind that you've been prepared for this. We've been preparing for this. None of this stuff that's coming up is truly a surprise for us. We've known that it's there. We've known that it needs to be taken care of. And while it might be annoying, it's an opportunity to release it for good. So if you're finding yourself frustrated, oh, this is coming back up again. This ex is contacting me, or I ran into somebody that I didn't want to see, treat it as an opportunity in some way. Maybe there's a really healing conversation that can come through that. Or maybe it's just a matter of running into that person and realizing, wow, I'm really different now. And that doesn't even impact me in the same way. And so I'm ready to fully let that go in a way that I didn't realize I was. So all kinds of different ways. I also feel like with this energy, there's a lot of opportunity for hope and excitement for the future. I want you to think about that. I want you to think about opening new doors, moving forward, focusing on what you're creating, focusing on being in a new era, and understanding that in this new era that things don't have to repeat. So meaning we've mastered, or we are mastering, a lot of lessons. And as we master those lessons, we no longer have to have the same experiences. So if we find ourselves in this place where we're waiting for the other shoe to drop, or we're waiting for things to go wrong, or fearful that it's just going to be repeating of the same thing, but we're showing up differently and we're approaching it differently, then I think that it's a real opportunity for us to find hope and excitement for the future. Hope and excitement for what's happening now, gratitude for what's happening now. And that's the energy that we want to be leaning into here in this energy. So I hope that that makes sense. I'd love to hear what you guys have going on. Are you finding yourself feeling compelled to go backwards? We're going to pull some tarot cards and see what they have to say. King of Swords. I will pull them and then we'll go over the meanings for them. Are you finding... Geez, okay. They are jumping out today. Seven of Swords, lots of swords here. Oh, here's another sword. Knight of Swords. So the swords, that's 3 out of 3 cards that are swords. So very mentally focused this week, thinking about a lot of things, reflecting on a lot of things. Speaking of reflecting, the Hanged Man. But how are you guys experiencing this energy? I always love to hear that from you. Also, if you guys love tarot, I am doing right now past life oracle tarot readings. They're just shorter readings. They're voice recorded, sent right to your email. And I do have those posted on my YouTube and Facebook. I have very limited number of them because I already sold some of those today, but if you're feeling compelled, okay, Strength card makes sense. Oh, and the Emperor, I forgot to show you that one. So let's talk about this and break this down. This is going to build on the messages that we already talked about and bring this home. So make sure you guys stick around for the tarot part, because to me, this is the best part of the reading, and I know a lot of people love it. So first card, King of Swords. Allowing ourselves to connect with the insights that are wanting to come through and being willing to take action on them when they come through. This is not an energy where we can choose to bury our head in the sand. Well, we can choose that. That's an option that is available to you. Again, we have free will. But if you choose to do that, you are not going to progress. You do not move into the next level of things, and you will repeat the same cycles again and again and again. So what are you being shown, and what are you feeling called to do about it? This is a powerful thing and very important in this energy. Are you recognizing, oh my gosh, this is the same lesson that I've been learning for the past 3 years, and now I'm going to do it differently. You're going to be shown how to do it differently. You may not like the answer. It might feel uncomfortable. It might feel different for you because it is different. Do it anyway. if you dare, right? We have this strength card. I'll talk about this one next just because I feel compelled to do that. We have this strength card coming in that's saying you're stronger than you think you are, and you are better at this than you think you are, and you have this ability to do this. I had one of my clients today. It was so incredible. The level at which she realized today how much she has progressed, how different she is, how differently she's showing up. And it was just this aha moment for her. And when she said that she now has this confidence in herself, she said it with true confidence, the energy of true confidence. And I think it surprised even her, the power that she said it in. And that's it, is like, I think in this energy, we're recognizing how far we've come if we've been putting the work in, and that we have all of the ability within ourselves to do whatever it is that we need to do in this game of life, because it is a game. Treat it like a game. I love to do it that way. That's how I am able to move my emotional, very emotional human out of all of this and approach things in a way that scare me, that make me uncomfortable, that are different. But we're being invited to do that, and we're being shown that we have the strength and the ability to do it. The strength card is also about being willing to do things in a different way, being willing to push the boundaries, being willing to stretch ourselves. And I absolutely feel us doing that here in this energy. The next card that we have is the Seven of Swords. What are you being shown? This is absolutely an energy where we are going to be shown who people are, who and what people are, what situations are. And then we get to decide what we do with that. We get to decide if that works for us, if that doesn't work for us. We get to recognize and see. There's a lot of seeing that's happening right now. We get to recognize and see if we are repeating lessons. It's hard for us to bury our heads in the sand right now. But people find a way, right? Just don't find a way. Don't find a way. Listen to it. It may be uncomfortable, but honor it and listen to it. And be mindful who you're having conversations with, who you're sharing your dreams with, who you are sharing your heart with. Be mindful about that. And this isn't to make anybody paranoid, because I think, again, there's a lot of beautiful blessings in this energy, but be mindful about that, and maybe even be willing to recognize that there are people that we've been connected to in the past, and they're just people, they're just learning their lessons too, but maybe they didn't have our best interest at heart. And maybe it's okay to accept that and to learn that, and maybe even to send forgiveness, while we also understand that that person doesn't get to access us in our lives anymore. So we're moving away from the things that don't serve us, the things that don't align. And we're going to be shown what that looks like. Knight of Swords. I think a lot of truth, a lot of information is going to be coming in, sometimes in a harsh way, but certainly in a way that's just right there, right in front of us. And we get to look at that and decide. Again, like I talked last week, training season is over. It's time for us to do the thing, whatever the thing is. So that awareness of that, and some of these truths will be harsh truths where we look at, oh my gosh, I've been investing myself in this, this, and this for so long, and now I'm realizing that this isn't worth the investment. This isn't a good use of me. This isn't a good use of my time. This isn't a good use of my conversations, whatever that is for you. I think that information is going to come rushing in some ways. There's also a lot of forward movement, right? So with the Knight of Swords, he moves forward very quickly. So you might see that there are opportunities to move forward from things really quickly and be surprised at the rate at which you're able to heal things, or the rate at which you're able to move forward from things and to step away from what doesn't align. So pay attention to that as well, because you might feel like you have a turbo boost behind you and it's just like, no, this doesn't work for me anymore. I'm going to move several levels up and leave these things in the dust. I'm going to open these new doors and leave behind what doesn't matter, what doesn't align for me. And we certainly, with this Hanged Man in reverse, are finding ourselves understanding things from a new perspective. Be open to that. You don't have to see things the way that you've always seen them. In fact, we don't want you to see things the way that you've always seen them, because it's time for us to write new stories. It's time for us to write stories of hope and excitement, because we're not doing the same work that we once were. We are too advanced for that. We've been developing, we've been learning, we've had some wonderful teachers through some very challenging experiences. And now it's like, let me just see it differently. Let me approach it differently. Let me write a better story for myself through what I'm manifesting, through what I'm focusing my energy on, my thoughts on, how I'm speaking about myself, how I'm speaking about my life. And let me hold hope and excitement for everything that I am creating now in my life. That's very key in this energy, is that hope and that excitement for this new era. Because we, the Emperor, this is mastery. This is mastery. This is such an empowered energy. We are in a very powerful position in our lives. And we get to be the captain of our ship. We get to be the master of our life. If we apply all of these lessons that we've been learning and we use them to better ourselves, we use them to level up our lives. A very powerful position to be in. And we might choose through the Emperor energy to lead in some way with it. Have you been feeling called to lead in some way? This is certainly the application of everything that we've been learning. We are building empires. For those of you who are working on businesses or leveling up in career, I think there's a lot of room and flexibility for that as well. Stepping into our power, the Emperor, taking actions that move us into our power. So this is an incredibly powerful and empowering energy that we have going on here. So let me know what you guys have going on in comments. I would love to hear. I love to hear how this resonates for you. Or if you're not somebody that likes to share, just leave a comment or an emoji. Or if you're watching this on the replay, type replay below. Just let me know that you're watching. Let me know that you're here. If you feel called, please share this video with somebody that you love, with somebody who needs these messages, who's trying to understand what's going on, or share it on your page or wherever you feel called to, so that this can connect with the people that it's meant to connect with. It helps these videos to go further, and you guys are part of this system of delivering these messages where they need to go, so that people can start to empower their weeks, empower their lives through understanding how they're responding to this collective energy that's happening, to the cosmos, to all that's developing in this energy. So all of that is super helpful. And some of you guys are absolute rock stars about that. I appreciate it so much. It means everything to me. If you haven't subscribed yet to my YouTube channel, please hit that as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I will be back soon with another video. Take care, guys.